So somehow, like a dumbass, I recorded this with a headset and the laptop mic that I'm using to do the capture with. So I can't use any of the audio because there's a horrible echo. Anyway, I did get Red Hat 3.0.3 installed, and I kind of cheated. I imaged the SD card I was using with DD. I took that image and I created a virtual machine with PCem, and I basically made the machine like identical, same amount of RAM, processor, video card, everything down to the hard drive size and everything to this PC. Once I got that up and running, I just installed, using the boot disk and RAM disk images like you're supposed to, and that worked. So, with no issues or anything. So once I got that, I DD'd it back to the SD card, and the machine, as you see, booted right off of it. Takes about 3 minutes to get to the desktop. So what I wound up doing, what I was trying to talk about, was the desktop is emulating 1024 by 768, even though it's the screen is only 640 by 480, so there's a lot of movement around. And I was trying to go through the man pages here and figure out how to either configure FVWM to not scroll. I don't want the emulated desktop, but also you can see the pager there on the left, and there's 4 virtual desktops. And instead of like using a key command to switch between them, it switches to those desktops by touching the window borders. So you move your mouse to the side of the screen to move the virtual 1024 by 768 desktop around. But if you go too far, then it just switches to the other desktop. But you can see like it's so slow that it actually just hides the apps and when it creates a desktop, which I'm assuming that's how it always has worked. But anyway, so I'm going through some of the apps here, trying to find a config utility. There's nothing. And eventually I get to a different window manager, and there's even less options there, but it has the same config. But yeah, I went through like the X-Free86 configurator and try to reset everything up. But I even chose like a higher resolution, but it still just goes into 640 by 480 and maintains that size. So it's kind of like really difficult to use because of the screen borders and the virtual desktops, and I'd like to turn both of those off before I try to do anything else with this. But as I go through this, I'm realizing that like nothing works. And even though I installed like 100% of the packages from the CD, it's missing a lot of applications. So like stuff that's on the application menu doesn't exist, which I didn't know. It just like wasn't. I'm opening stuff and nothing's happening. There's not even any hard drive activity when that happens. And when we finally drop out of this X session back to the CLI, there's a bunch of error messages saying it can't find all these programs, and they may be there, like the symbolic links didn't get created or something. But yeah, I'm gonna speed up the rest of the video and just take a look at whatever. But I didn't really do anything. I saw that there's a Pac-Man clone, and that was like one of the only things that opened. I tried to open Netscape, tried to open Mosaic, tried to open some of the other games, and they just crash out. But yeah, I got it working. I don't remember having this kind of trouble back in the day, but it's been about 30 years since I messed with this. And I do remember using, this window manager and stuff, but I am thinking now that I also probably got the book that had the Red Hat version 4 where they introduced GNOME. because I'm much more familiar with GNOME. And so yeah, I might try to get that going as well, and see if it fares any better. Of note also, when you're installing Red Hat, it says it's intended for the i386, and like the minimum requirements are so low. And I opened Top at some point in here, and it's using like all the RAM to do nothing. And it's got 24 megabytes of RAM. So I'm not sure what 386 it was intended for, but there's that. But yeah, I guess, if you have any suggestions, leave me a comment, and I'll see what I can dig up. And thanks for watching. Subscribe or like if you haven't, and more stuff like this in the future. I just have to figure out how to record it better so I don't have to do a voiceover. I can, talk about it live. All right, thanks.